the purpose of sidechain to the drums? Not a dumb question at all. I mean, listen, so okay, few different things. If I turn up the piano too loud, when you have a really long sound, like a piano, this piano is a really long sound. If you look at it up close, it's taking up the entire bar, especially once you factor in the fact that it's compressed. It's just going to look like big ass blocks just going across the entire bar, right? It's taking up all the space. So if you look at the loudest element, which is the kick, if you were to zoom in and look at that, look at how much space there is where the kick isn't happening, right? That's a lot of space in between. If we were to actually quantify how much space that is, like if we were to just come up with a numerical representation, even though mixing and numbers, really, it's just a way to think of it, just for now. This kick is like 100 milliseconds long, is like the real meat of it. And any bar is like 2.5 seconds long. So you're talking about like it's taken up 10% of the time. This kick is occupying 10% of the total space. Even if the kick was so fucking loud, it was by far the loudest thing that was happening here, you'd still have 90% of the bar in between to where you can fill it with all this other information. Now, if I had a piano sound and it was just as loud as the kick, and it's just this huge block of sound, and it's taking up 100% of the space in the span of a bar, well, it's going to be taking up, it's just gonna be, you're just going to get no kick, basically. In other words, it's much less harmful to have really short sounds with that are not sustained. You can have them be pretty loud, and it's not going to take up too much of the time, because again, 90% of the time is still going to be available for you to fill it with all kinds of stuff. So now, if the piano is really loud and it's covering up the kick, well, then I don't have as strong of a kick now, do I? But if I sidechain the piano to where the piano momentarily cuts out, so that we still get a nice strong kick in there, then we get the best of both worlds. So, I just want to share the space with my two main elements here, the kick and the piano. Same thing with the bass. Now, the bass is a little bit different. The bass also tends to be pretty short in this case. Sometimes bass can be really long and sustained as well. But in this case, it's short, but it is kind of occupying a similar job as the kick. It's in the same range. And so if they're just happening at the same time, they're just, first off, it's just going to be hella muddy because they're both in the bass range. And generally, you don't want a lot of stuff happening in the bass range because that's the muddiest range. If you have a lot of stuff going on there, it can get really muddy really fast. Most of the time, you don't want to be muddy. Sometimes you do. Most of the time, you don't. So I just, have that duck out momentarily while the kick happens, because again, the kick is really short, and I can still hear both very well. So even if I made it so that the bass was so quiet even if I made the bass completely silent while the kick hits, listen, we still get that tone. We just missed the first 100 milliseconds to bias the kick. Just get a tighter, just a better sound, right? Well, I'm still gonna crank the kick. The kick is still my ceiling. The kick is always, for me, generally speaking, 90% of the time, the kick is the loudest element on my mixes. That's just how I like it. So I'm still cranking it. I just don't want to waste it. Like, if I got other stuff in the way, it's just like, yeah, I still crank it for sure. Like, look at my limiter right now and tell me that the kick isn't the loudest thing happening. Like, that's the only thing hitting the limiter right now, and it's hitting it by a pretty fat margin. It's like, it's at least 4 decibels higher than everything else. You know what I mean? Like, what would it even take for it to reach the next loudest thing? Like, where's the snare at? That's pretty extreme. You know what I mean? Let me actually double check that and make sure it's not too much right now. But yeah, usually my kick's the loudest thing. Usually not by that much, so let me just double check. I mean, I kind of fuck with it though. Cool. Sounds good to me. Yeah. So there you go. What's up, you guys? Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like what you saw, please hit like, subscribe, and the notification bell. And feel free to follow me on Twitch, where I do these streams every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. You can find the link in the description. And lastly, I am one person with one perspective, and all rules in music are meant to be broken, so please don't take anything I say too seriously, and remember to have fun. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.